Hello everyone. Let's talk about standard in and standard out, or basically getting input into a program and outputting from it. Let's take the following program that you see here. We have a simple program called Hello World. Now Hello World has a main method, and remember the main method is where your code starts executing. So in my main method, I have a couple of numbers that are integers. More about numbers later. So I have int num1, which is a whole number as a variable. I have int num2, a variable of type integer. And I also have a third integer called result. Now in this simple program, what I'm doing is I'm just assigning num1 equal 5 and num2 equal 10. And then on line 10, simply saying the result is equal to num1 plus num2. A very simple program that adds two numbers. Now, if I run this program, just going to go over to execute here. If you see what happens when I execute this program, if you look at the terminal output on the right, there's nothing. There's nothing there. So that's, you're thinking about it, it's like, well, it didn't work, right? Because it's not showing me anything. What's supposed to happen? Well, think about this. The program that you see here on the left isn't writing anything out to the terminal. It's just adding two numbers and doing nothing. So let me introduce standard out or system.out. What standard out is it writes out to the terminal. So here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say something very simple. Line 11 in my program on the left, I'm going to say system.out println the result is, and then I'm going to concatenate, and that's just with the plus sign, result, which is the variable on line 10. So now, when I run the program, as soon as I finish typing this in, I should get something written to standard out to terminal on the right. So let me run this now. I think I'm missing something. No, I think I'm missing a semicolon, but let me give it a shot. Yep, I'm missing something. So let me go to line 11 and then add a semicolon, then run the program. Now, look what happened here. Now, line 11 is writing out the result is, in this case, 15, to standard out or to the terminal. So right now, we changed our program to get some output. Now it's outputting, making it user-friendly. But let's take a look at this in more depth. How else can we make this program a little bit more flexible? Notice here that on line 8 and line 9, we just have two hard-coded values. We have num1 equals 5, num2 equals 10. So when I run this program for the next million times, all it's going to do is add 5 to 10 and get the result. Not very flexible. That's where standard in comes with the scanner class. So let me make a modification here to first on line 8, just to ask the user. Again, you know what system out does. All it does is it writes something to the terminal on the right. So I'm going to add line 8 that says, please enter the first number. Again, all this does for the 80th time is just write something out to the terminal. It doesn't do anything else. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the code that's going to take input from the user. Now when you weren't looking, I added on line 2, import java.util.scanner. The scanner is the class that we use in Java to get input from the user or from standard in. In plain language, that means that the user is going to enter in a value in the terminal on the right. So on line 10, I declare a new scanner. And again, don't worry too much about the code. Think about big picture now. Line 10, what it does is it creates a class called a scanner, which is a Java thing that's going to get input from the user. Remember, you're not that far into Java programming now, so a lot of this stuff is going to be explained a little bit more depth as you get into it, because each one of these things is worth its own lecture. So on line 11, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in next int, which is the which means that I'm going to type in a number and I'm going to assign it to num1. So now what I'm going to do is, now that I have my scanner and num1, I'm just going to kind of duplicate that for my for num2. And again, on line 2 here, what I'm doing is I'm importing the scanner, and then what you're seeing here is On line, again, 9 is I'm saying please enter the first number. Line 10, line 11 is the line that gets the input from the user. Now, we haven't run this yet. We're still coding it, so we haven't run it yet. So now let me add the code under line 11 that's going to get the second number. So I'm going to type this in really quickly. How about like system.out println, please enter the second number. So I'll type that in, system.out println, and I'll just put in please enter second number. Now, what that's going to do is when I run this program, it's going to write this out to the terminal, or again, standard out on the right. Remember, the terminal is input into the program using standard in, and output from the program, also called standard out. So now on line 13, let's say, hey, you know what? Let's get a user entered number from the terminal. And we do that using the scanner class. Again, when you think of scanner, think about getting a value from the terminal into the program. And that's what we're doing on line 13. And let me put a semicolon there. And I think we should be good. So now, when I run my program, you're going to see it first say, please enter the first number. And then we're going to enter the first number. Then you're going to see on the terminal, please enter the second number, and you're going to see the second number, and then you're going to enter the second number, and on line 14, it's going to add the numbers together and display the result. So take a good mental picture of this, and what we're going to do is we're going to run this. Again, a very simple program that we expanded to just add 2 numbers. So when I execute, if you look on the terminal, if everything works good, please enter first number. Okay, that's line 9 that's executing. So I'm going to kind of click under where it says please enter first number, and I'm going to enter that number in. And again, there you see line 9 is displaying please enter the first number. So I click under please enter first number, and I'll enter 50. Use a whole number for now. I hit enter, and now it's saying, I'm getting on the terminal, please enter second number. Now this is line 12 showing in your terminal. So what I can do now is the next line of code in the program is going to get a number from me. So I'm going to click under, get second number, and put in 100. Then hit enter. And then you see on line 15, it's saying here, at first on line 14, it's adding the 2 numbers together, and it's writing the result out to the terminal. Now, there's a couple words that are analogous here. The terminal and the command line are the same thing. That just means that is where the program is reading things in from and where the program is writing things out to. So you have a very simple program here that is taking 2 numbers, it's getting them from standard in or from the terminal using the scanner class, adding them and writing them back out to the command line. Thank you.